Hello, Kingsville. Good afternoon. It's Kimberly DeYoung, Deputy Mayor for the town of Kingsville. Today is Wednesday, January 21st, and I hope this is short. I'm just going to do a little bit of update background of what I know, my time here, with respect to the green bins. I saw a live video that Essex Mayor Bondi did. If there's been other members of County Council that put stuff out, I haven't seen it yet. I try to reduce my social media time, but I'm aware that there's a lot of discussion, questions, uncertainty. And I was here last term when this started, so I thought I could provide a little bit of insight. Who knows, somebody told me they like when I do videos, so here you go. Here's another video if it suits you. I'll tell you, you can do an internet search of like Kingsville Organics and AI will lay out the timeline pretty good. I did that just to see what I could find. There are news articles dating back which really lay out the information well. From there, you can find out about when the council would have talked about it and go look up the agendas, watch the videos, watch the votes. All of that took me really less than half an hour to remind myself of the timeline because I really wanted to lay it out as a timeline. So this is all my opinion and understanding of this issue. I do not speak for anyone but myself, and here it is. So in 2022, the province decided that municipalities would have to divert organics away from landfills, and they put a deadline of 2025 of when they'd have to do that. So we had a few years to figure it out. Locally, Windsor had to divert up to 70%, and they were required to do roadside green bin pickup. Leamington, Tecumseh, Amherstburg, and LaSalle were required to do a 50% diversion from landfill, but they did not have to do curbside. They could just do a public drop-off, community compost pile. They had options. They didn't have to do curbside. Kingsville, Essex, and Lakeshore were completely exempt due to our low density for our population. We have mostly rural land. So, you know, recognizing that a lot of us have composts in our own yards and that our homes are spread out throughout country, rural. So then March of 2022, our Solid Waste Authority, the Essex Windsor Solid Waste Authority, wanted to do a regional approach. And it's important to know that the Solid Waste Authority, USWA, or we call it, or USWA, is a board made up of half members from the City of Windsor Council and half members from the County of Essex Council. And they actually alternate year to year. One is the chair, and then they have an extra member, and then the next year the other is the chair, and they have an extra member. So just keep that in mind, that half of this board is run by the city, who's required to do roadside pickup. So in 2022, March, the board decides that they want to see a regional approach. They want everybody to do the same thing. And in April, right the next month, Kingsville voted opposed. So Kingsville, I was on this council at the time. I remember the discussion. We had our administration was already looking into options of locally what we could do for our community to divert organics. That's what we directed our administration to do. We had talked about the concerns about climate change, and this was definitely something we wanted to take part in, but we knew we didn't want to take the regional roadside pickup approach because it would be so costly. But no one really knew the cost yet. I think, you know, looking back at these articles, the chair of USWA at the time was Mayor McNamara, I believe, in Tecumseh, and said it was like $8 million, I think, plus like on an annual basis. I don't know. The numbers are pretty large, but honestly, there was no actual knowledge of what it would cost at that time. But by the end of that last year's term, the decision was made. It was going to be a regional approach. Kingsville wanted to opt out. I was looking at one article, actually, the articles are actually good for jogging the memory. In May of 2022, 4 students from the Kingsville District High School came and asked Kingsville to reconsider. They wanted us to embrace the roadside pickup. And in that article, it talks about how Kingsville was hoping to be excluded from the regional, like we wanted to opt out. But USWA said that no municipality can unilaterally say no. And I remember us talking about how can an upper tier government force something on a lower tier? How can they force us to do this? And it basically boiled down to an agreement that lower tiers made with the upper tier with respect to the landfill. We have a regional landfill. And it was that agreement that gave them the authority to then impose bylaws pertaining to the landfill. So there was discussion at the time about completely banning organics from the landfill. But, you know, that was a bit of a red herring because the biggest producers of organics are not included in this. This is only homes. And our biggest producers of organics is our agricultural industry, our greenhouses, restaurants. All of these have much bigger organics, and greenhouses pay for the landfill to take their organic waste. So you couldn't be banning it from the landfill, you know, houses when you're allowing bigger producers to pay. So new term of council, that's this term here. And I just want to catch you up because last term, this was done deal. We didn't know exactly how much it would cost. But then in the new term in September of 2023, so pretty soon after this new county council took office, the county wanted all of the waste management to be in the county's control. So they were doing organics and they wanted us to upload garbage. Right now, garbage is local level. Recycling is at the higher level. And now the province has taken that. Organics is at the county level. So you got province doing recycling, county doing organics, and the town still doing garbage. This could not be a more confusing thing. So the towns, though, had to vote to whether to upload their garbage or not. And 4 of the 7 said no. So the majority of the county communities did not want to upload the responsibility of garbage and then not have control. It would have most certainly meant garbage would go to bi-weekly instead of weekly. It's currently weekly. I think most towns, at least in Kingsville, I can really only speak for Kingsville. It was Kingsville, Essex, Lakeshore, and LaSalle that voted opposed to uploading garbage. And one of the reasons I was opposed, because I do think we'll probably get to a bi-weekly garbage. If everybody is using the green bin and everybody's using their blue bin, your garbage should be minimal and you probably can get rid of it every other week because the really bad stuff should be going out every week in your organics. That is the gold standard of what we're going towards, but we're not there. And also, it's a lot of change all at once. So part of my concern about it was also going down rural roads. Like we have some roads out here in the country where there's only a couple of houses and we're sending an organic truck down there every week rather, as an environmental move. And it just seemed a little counter for me personally. Okay, so garbage stays local. Then in June 2024, the county voted to include rural in the organics pickup. So previously it only had been the urban from the year prior, the term prior, only urban was going to be picked up. And now they wanted rural to be included as well. And I know Kingsville pushed for the cost then to be a county cost because locally we didn't want it. And so we didn't want to have to put it into our tax levy, just like, we have to put in the OPP increase in our tax levy. It's not anything that we have a decision about, but it looks like it's Kingsville's choice when it's really not. So in June 2024, the user cost was to be shown as a county fee on your taxes. Still not sure how much it's going to cost. USWA also awarded the organics program to Seacliff Energy and the pickup of it to the Miller Waste. So, that pretty much gets us to now. The program itself for Kingsville doesn't start until November of 2026. We did get just in December what it's actually going to cost, just this last December. So, a good 3.5 years after we started talking about this. So for Kingsville, just for 2026, it's $33 for the year because we're only starting in November, but it's going to be like close to $200 a household per year to pick up organics. So that's where we're at right now. None of this is going to change this term. I can't recall, and I didn't take the time to look it up, I apologize, how long this contract is with Seacliff Energy. Seacliff Energy has a good reputation. You can look them up and see what they're doing with your waste. And honestly, a quick internet search will get you everything I just said and more. You can read the details of what the USWA chair said and their rationale of forcing this on the lower tier. I do think it's interesting that the province didn't see the value in forcing us to do it because of, you know, you're talking about putting more cars on the road to go pick up, the joke is the banana peel, right? So, but here we are. This is the way democracy works. The county was able to vote this way. The municipality is required to follow it. And Kingsville will be getting green bins by the end of this year. So that's it for me on this. By all means, go search. The county has a ton of information out on it. USWA's website has tons of information. And the news articles were really great to lay out as this went on. You know, at the end of the day, Kingsville, Essex, and Lakeshore voted opposed, and majority ruled. The other 4 voted pro, going a regional approach. So for now, your garbage is every week. You don't have a green bin yet in Kingsville, and your blue bin still every other week. So that's the way it is, Kingsville. I hope you're having a great day. Stay safe on these roads. Talk to you soon.